It's that time of the year again, me ranking all of the 2022 liveries from worst to best. All of you know exactly how these videos go, so let's jump straight into it. In 10th place, I have got Williams, unfortunately. Now, I do actually want to say that in general, I think the liveries this year look really nice. I think we've got a really good grid, and I actually don't hate any of these liveries. Just one of them does have to be in 10th. And in terms of why this livery is probably my least favorite, I think it's just a bit busy. I mean, even on this one photo, which shows the back of the engine cover, they've got this kind of diamond pattern, which is okay, but then there's kind of 4 red lines kind of going backwards to the left of the Lavazza. Then underneath the number, there's kind of another red and another shade of blue, kind of strange lines there as well. So, and that's just the engine cover. Even if we move to the front, it's got kind of this weird kind of triangle effect underneath the number on the nose. So yeah, there's just a lot going on. Again, I don't hate it. I just hope, to be honest, that they stick with this color palette from now on, because I don't feel like Williams have had a language really in terms of their liveries. They haven't had any consistency. I mean, from 2018 when they had the Martini, the 2019 car was really bad. I hated that livery, to be brutally honest. In 2020, of course, they had 2 different liveries because obviously their Rocket partnership ended before the season began. Then they had another livery in 2021, which I really wasn't a fan of, and they've changed it yet again. So even though I'm not a big fan, hopefully they do stick with it. They kind of make some adjustments and kind of improve it as the years go on, but just get some consistency with their livery, build a brand image. But yeah, again, unfortunately, it's probably my least favorite in 2022. In 9th place, I have got Haas. Now, they definitely did the right thing by taking the Uralkali off the car. I was very impressed actually with how quickly they reacted to it. In terms of the white car, I actually would put the white car just below this, but still above the Williams. Maybe that's a little bit controversial, but just on the livery itself, I actually didn't hate it. I do quite like that the Haas is a white car, because there's so many dark liveries this year that I actually think that the Haas is going to stand out. Now, again, the really strange kind of element is that I don't actually mind this livery. It's kind of obviously a little bit awkward talking about it, but certainly it got better from the renders. I really wasn't a big fan of it when I saw the renders, but they made the Haas logo bigger. The colors really pop. Now, obviously, we don't actually know what their 2022 livery is even going to be, because, I mean, are they going to stay? I don't think they've confirmed that they're going to stay with just the plain white car with the Haas logo. So are they going to give their designers, some time to redesign a brand new livery? To be honest, I wouldn't kind of mind seeing the 2020 livery make a comeback. I thought that was pretty smart. Again, it's kind of a strange situation to rank a livery that isn't going to race in 2022, but yeah, either way, I'm excited to see, are they going to run their kind of blank car for 2022, or are they going to get a brand new livery? So yeah, looking forward to that. In 8th place, I have got AlphaTauri. Now, I must be honest, when the pictures actually first dropped of the renders when the car was released, I was a really big fan, and I do still love all of the little details like the Italian flag on the mirror and things like that, but I must admit, it did kind of lose a little bit of something when I started to see more pictures of it actually out on the track. Now, I think the biggest thing for me is that obviously the livery is dictated by the actual car itself, the design of the body, the aerodynamics, and obviously livery designers, they have to stick to whatever the team gives them. They have a very specific kind of rules that they have to follow. And I think for me, it's just that I don't like the shape of the car and the way the livery works with it. So, for example, the AlphaTauri logo on the side pod, the way it kind of swoops down as it goes back, and again that follows the shape of the side pod, which is what the team gave the livery designers. But yeah, I'm just not a fan of it for some reason. It's just lost a little bit of something. I still think it's a nice livery, don't get me wrong, and from some pictures I really love the contrast of that navy blue and the white. I think it does actually look quite nice from certain angles, but yeah, unfortunately I just think it's maybe one of the weaker liveries on the grid in my opinion. Next up, I have got Alpine. And this livery, I must be honest, really disappointed me. For anyone that watched my video, my livery ranking last year, you'll know that this livery, the 2021 Alpine, which I thought was just fantastic, the blue, the red, the way it worked, it wasn't too busy, it was absolutely perfect, and it was my number one, it was my most favorite livery of 2021, and it doubly hurts because, yeah, I'm not a fan of this 2022 Alpine. Now, I think the combination of blue and pink actually can work really nicely. I mean, I've seen kind of pictures of race cars and race liveries from, either video games or even real life of blue and pink cars that look really nice. So I think it's a tricky color combination, but when you get it right, it's got those kind of Miami vibes, and I think it can work really well. But it pains me to say it, I don't really like this car. From the moment I saw it, I know when I see a livery, if I love it or I hate it, or if, you know, I'm somewhere in between. And unfortunately, it was a little bit worse for me. Now, the really interesting thing is, I also think that they kind of made a few changes whilst they were in Barcelona, because during the early pictures, you can see there was more pink around the side pod and the roll hoop. And then later on, they kind of had that in black. And to be honest, I'm not sure if they did that subconsciously or not, if they were just, you know, putting on different parts and testing different things aerodynamically. But I actually think it works a little bit better if you remove some of those extra pink elements. So I actually think it works better with the black. Now, when it comes to the rest of the car, again, for me, it's just a little bit busy. There's a lot going on. I mean, even just the back of that engine cover, you've got the BWT, which, to be honest, I think it's more the shape of the car, the way it swoops down. It just doesn't look cohesive. It doesn't incorporate it quite nicely. I don't really see a language from the rear wing to the front wing to the side pods. It's just, you know, it just looks like, yeah, let's just put some pink there because we have to get BWT on there. There's also obviously then the Alpine, so you've got, and then the map for it as well. There's a lot going on this car, and I just don't think it's cohesive. You've got the pink, you've got the blue, you've got the red. It's just, yeah, there's a lot of different shapes as well. The Alpine kind of element to it is kind of almost a little bit progressive. It's got a bit of a gradient to it. And I just think, yeah, it's not a mess. It just doesn't come together cohesively, in my opinion. And even though it has got better the more pictures I've seen of it, and I do quite, you know, I quite like it, I was just left a little bit disappointed because I loved last year's livery so much. Now, of course, Alpine also unveiled an alternative livery, which is basically almost all pink. It really does look like the Racing Point, and I really like that. Now, they're going to be running it for the first 2 races of the season in Bahrain and Saudi Arabia. I'm not sure actually yet if we're going to see it during Bahrain preseason testing. I think we should actually, because again, it's only because the Bahrain Grand Prix is then only going to be a week later. So it'll be really cool to see that livery hopefully out on track very, very soon. And I prefer the all pink livery, to be honest, to the blue and the pink, because I think, again, I'm someone who actually likes bold colors. I was a big fan of the Pink Panthers, the Racing Point in 2020, for example. And I think if you're going to do that BWT sponsorship, the blue and pink here didn't quite work for me. It's a bit too busy. But the all pink, I mean, if you just go head first, if you fully commit, I think it just looks a little bit better. And to be honest, I'd probably rank it, you know, definitely higher than this, and maybe somewhere like 5th or 4th in terms of that all pink livery. But yeah, unfortunately, this is the one that I'm ranking because we're going to see it for the majority of the 2022 season. And yeah, I wanted to love it so much. I loved the Alpine last year so much, but yeah, I'm just left a little bit disappointed. In 6th place, I have got Mercedes. Now, luckily, this livery actually got better because I must be honest, when they did their shakedown at Silverstone and they released kind of pictures of it, I thought it looked really rough. I really didn't like it, actually, especially the back of the engine cover, because I couldn't see the number. Like, I'm not sure if anyone else kind of struggled to see or recognize the 63. There was this really weird kind of, I don't even know what the back of that engine cover even was. I mean, with the Mercedes star, the Team Viewer sponsorship, and that kind of Petronas Primax sponsorship as well, that whole combination was a complete mess to me. Luckily, when they did test the car at Barcelona, I think the Mercedes team actually made some changes to the livery. Maybe they kind of saw the pictures and decided to do kind of make some minor changes. I think they doled down some of those Mercedes logos, so now their two other sponsors, Team Viewer and kind of Petronas Primax, there's a much better contrast. You can actually see them, and they also added, I think, a little stroke to the numbers as well and kind of changed them a little bit. Obviously, you can see that Ineos have really stepped up their kind of incorporation into the livery. Clearly, they wanted a bit more representation into the livery, and the fact that, yeah, I mean, especially on the rear wing, I'm just looking, the red on the bottom, the teal on the top, the black, it's just a bit much. Again, even the kind of the teal of the Petronas, that swoop that they have across the entire car, I just don't think it's anywhere near as good as they were in 2019 or even 2020, to be honest. I remember 2019, that kind of swoop, that teal that goes across the entire car, it actually had a gradient to it. It looked like it was almost like lighting up, and this is just kind of a solid color. That's something that I've not really liked about any of the Mercedes liveries since, but yeah, I still think it's one of the weaker Mercedes liveries, and it's nowhere near as good as their 2019 livery or even their 2020 livery, the Black Arrow. I thought, yeah, 2019 and 2020, that was peak Mercedes, but yeah, it's okay. Next up, I have got a bit of a controversial one, and that is the McLaren. Now, when this came out, a lot of people were not a big fan of it, and I totally understand why, but I kind of like it. I love the bold colors. Again, the design is definitely not perfect. There's a few things that I'd like to change. I don't think the way the blue goes into the halo is that nice, to be honest. And also, I hate the font and I hate those numbers. I don't think they're not very easy to read, but other than that, I quite like it. I think it's quite cool. I will say one thing, that for some reason in photos, it seems like it's very dulled down. So I'm not sure if that's just the camera or just the color of the car. So I don't think it takes photos that well. I mean, I'd love to know from kind of maybe more photography experts, but in terms of the livery, I do like that color combination. I like that McLaren have now almost, they've introduced this as their brand. They put it on their Indy cars, obviously their Formula One car, their Extreme E car as well. So I really like that kind of consistency across the entire company. I also quite like the way the colors progress across the car as well, in terms of at the front, it's mainly papaya. So the entire front wing basically is orange. And as you get further back, the blue line kind of gets bigger and bigger. And then the entire rear wing at the back of the car is mainly blue. So I think that's quite nice as well. I also like just the way the sponsors actually sit on the colors as well. So the Velo is in black. The other kind of smaller sponsors are white on a black background. So I think they did a really good job, to be honest. I'm not kind of on the hate train, and I actually quite like it. So yeah, maybe a controversial one. The more I look at it, the more I like it. And also, trust me, in the sun, this livery is going to absolutely pop. So it's going to look insane. So yeah, I'm a big fan of the McLaren. What can I say? The next livery I've got on my list is the Red Bull. Now, long-term viewers of the channel will know I am a big fan of this Red Bull livery. I like that they haven't changed it. I like this consistency. Undoubtedly, it is to me an iconic modern livery. And yeah, I'm still not bored of it. But the really strange thing is about this livery, even though I do love it, I actually strangely preferred it on the F1 show car when they actually kind of did their fake launch of their RB18. Now, the reason for that is because I just thought when I first saw it on the F1 show car, I mean, the Oracle was big, even the Red Bull logo on the front wing, I thought that was really cool as well. The colors just, I thought, kind of popped and looked amazing. But the really strange thing is, when we finally got to see the RB18, it actually got a little bit worse for me because kind of as I said with AlphaTauri, and maybe there's a bit of a link there with Red Bull and AlphaTauri, but the livery designers are at the mercy of whatever the team want to do with their side pod design and the kind of the shape of the car. And yet again, you know, because of that crazy undercut kind of side pod design that Adrian Newey has come up with, or, you know, the guys obviously at Red Bull, the Oracle is now a little bit smaller, and I'm not as big of a fan of it. Also, after the launch, they signed a brand new sponsorship with a crypto company called Bybit. And once those logos were added on, I think it also made the livery a tiny bit worse. I'm not a fan of it at all on the front wing. I actually preferred it when it just said Red Bull in massive letters. So yeah, some of those details have pulled it down for me just a little bit, but I'm still a big fan. We're into the top three, and I must be honest, the third and second places were very, very tight. But in third place, I have got Aston Martin. I mean, from the moment we saw this livery, what a livery. It looks fantastic. I mean, what more do you want me to say about it? Obviously, they dropped a BWT for 2021. And also, I haven't actually heard too many people talk about this. I think they've actually changed the green of the car as well. It looks a lot more green, whilst last year it was a little bit darker, and it maybe had a few more hints of blue. So I actually quite like that. I feel like it really matches the car a lot better, this brand new shade of green. And also the lime, or the little kind of electric kind of lime elements as well. That's part of the Aston Martin racing brand as well, so tying that all together with kind of their other, you know, their GT programs as well. So all of these things I just think work well. There's not much to the livery. It's a green car with a few little, you know, hints of lime, and guess what? That's all it needs. It's a very simple livery. I love it. I love how it goes from, you know, one side of the car to the other and kind of continues on the rear wing as well. Also, their sponsorships are a really basic color as well, so, you know, white on a green background. Everything about this livery is just classy, it's just simple, and it's just nice. I also think the shape of the car is really nice as well. I think the front of it looks really aggressive with that kind of high front nose, and also black on the front wing as well, so that kind of makes it kind of blend in a little bit more, makes it look aggressive. The louvers as well on the side pods as well. Yeah, I think this car as a package, the livery, the shape of the car, is just fantastic. Just two to go, and in second place, I have got Alfa Romeo. Now, wow, this livery was worth the wait because, of course, during the first week of testing, they ran with kind of a special camo livery, which I wasn't a really big fan of, to be honest, but boy, was this worth the wait. I mean, this livery is just fantastic, but do you know what the best thing about it is and why it's undoubtedly one of the best liveries on the grid? You can read the numbers. Thank you, Alfa Romeo. White numbers on a dark red background. That is it. That's all I need, to be honest, to read the numbers. So yeah, that's fantastic. But yeah, I mean, the design of it's just incredible. Now, there is so many things about this livery that I love. I mean, first of all, just the shape of it. It looks so retro. I mean, the Alfa Romeo logo on the engine cover, that gives me so much kind of retro vibes. I love the fact that it goes from red to white to red, and then right at the tip of the nose, it's gone back to white. And also, they've done a really good job in terms of their sponsors, because on the red background, the writing is white, and on the white background, the sponsors are red, with Orlen, of course, who are a big sponsor for them in 2022. And I also love all of the little details as well, the Italian flag on the rear wing, just the little hints of green with the clover leaf as well, kind of bringing that Alfa Romeo theme, so still keeping that on the car. The wheel covers as well, having that kind of red and white. I think that's going to look so cool when it's spinning. And even the use of black as well. They've got a lot of black on the front wing and also on kind of the bottom half of their car. And I just think it makes the car look a little bit lower to the ground, more aggressive and meaner. And I mean, the entire package, the black, the red, the white, the little hints of green as well. It's a beautiful livery, and Alfa Romeo, I mean, I think they were one of my favorite liveries last year. I think I might have also ranked them second last year as well. So sorry about that, Alfa Romeo. Runners up 2 years in a row. But listen, once again, Alfa Romeo have absolutely smashed it. That, of course, leaves just one, and that is Ferrari. Wow, I love this livery. Undoubtedly my favorite of 2022. A little bit of a backstory, actually. As I was covering day by day the first week of testing, you do not know how many times I had to resist putting the Ferrari on every single thumbnail, or just putting pictures of Ferrari pretty much throughout the entire video. It looks unbelievable on the track. I absolutely love that darker tone of red, and of course the black. That absolutely makes it. I love the black on the front wing. I love how it carries over to the diffuser, and then the rear wing as well. It really harks back to those iconic Ferraris of the late 80s and early 90s. The only kind of little bit of criticism that I have about it is the fact that the numbers are also in black. I'd love for them to be in white, because I think that would be a bit of a nicer contrast, but they're still kind of readable enough. And also just on the top of the shark fin and the back of the engine cover, that 75 and that integration of the kind of little bit of black on the shark fin, and the way it has kind of like a little gradient. I'm not a big fan of that, to be honest. I think that might have been or could have been integrated a little bit better, but it doesn't take it too much away. Again, it's just a red car, and sometimes simplicity is just the best thing, you know. It's only got really two primary colors, red and black, and it just looks amazing with all of its sponsors as well. They're kind of the right proportions, and they give enough to the car without making it look kind of crowded. And that's the one thing that, if you remember right at the beginning of the video, I mentioned with Williams, I thought their livery was just... it was just a bit busy. There was a lot going on, and the Ferrari, it is really just simple, but yeah, that's what makes really good livery. Sometimes they are just simple, and I think the Ferrari, also with the shape of the car, those side pods as well, that crazy. I mean, that's a swimming pool right there on the Ferrari, but yeah, I love this car. The colors, the shape of it, the look of it. Ferrari have my favorite livery of 2022. All of the pictures of this car on the track look absolutely gorgeous. I don't know if this is an omen for the season ahead for the Scuderia, but yeah, Ferrari, you get your first W of 2022. Well, there you have it. Another video wrapped up. Do not forget, let me know your top 10 in the comments box below. I can't wait to see what you all have to say. And if you did enjoy this video and enjoy the content on my channel, then don't forget to subscribe as well. That would be greatly appreciated. And I will see you in the next one.